approve meeting minutes from May 2nd, 2024.
Cummings will second.
Motion by Austin Cole, second by Cummings to approve the meeting minutes of May 2nd. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Citizen input, seeing none. Meeting summaries from last council meeting. Tim, water and light?
We had a rather lengthy meeting last time. We went over the painting of the digester for the wastewater treatment plant. That is an item that was not in the original bid. And it's old concrete, it's about 50 years old. And when they took off the seal, they found that the cement was starting to flake. So they are going to clean that by sandblasting, and they'll be putting a new coating over the top. So that was a discussion as to, it's going to be
Change order.
it's going to be about $100,000 cost, $150,000. But we're still within our contingency, well within our contingency
Okay.
on the wastewater treatment plant. It's not taking over our, so we're fine there. BMO attended the meeting. That's the bank that the utility uses to discuss collateralized deposits. We approved the ports and pay request, went over the first quarter financials, discussed purchasing a new software, open point proposals. This would allow us to inventory all the wire, nuts, bolts, and keep track of what is used out in the field for billing purposes. It's a much better system than we currently have, because
We're all upgrading.
they can all do it right out in the field instead of bringing in
nice.
paperwork and Joy having to
Efficient.
transpose that. Received an update on the PSC certification. What we're looking to do is upgrade the north side, specifically the northeast side of the city, upgrade that to 24/9 electrical service. And then we held elections of officers.
I wondered that. Why did you have election of officers? Isn't that done in October?
Because we haven't had an election of officers. I was going off, I was an officer.
Oh, because of the changeover in the
We're doing
ordinance?
some changeovers.
That
So-
makes sense then.
And Tom is, I think has already told you that he intends to,
In the end of October.
end of October, so he thought it would be a good time
For him to
to for him to get off the presidency
Yep.
and let somebody else do that. So that's why we had the election of officers.
That makes sense. I questioned that. Okay, thank you. All right, thank you very much. Cable, nothing here. The minutes are usually in the packet, but they're always a month later, so unless there was something to specifically get brought up, Laura would let us know. All right, then back to Tim, finance, insurance, and personnel.
Okay, we will deal with the financial statements. And Thomas, make a motion to approve the April 2024 financial statements. What? Oh, we got consent agenda.
Your 4C,
Oh, for heaven's sake.
your 4C.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
I'm on meeting summaries.
Yeah, you're on meetings and summaries. Okay.
I thought I was doing all right.
I gotta go
Meetings and
back up.
summaries.
I'm trying to get ahead of
That's all right.
I'm moving right along.
reading them early.
Pretty much everything we discussed in finance is coming before us in the council agenda, with the exception of, we discussed a hiring process, and we're gonna be working on formulating a hiring process in the future. Other than that, everything else was on the agenda.
Thank you. Now we'll go to the consent agenda items, which are in your packet. Is there any questions? Otherwise, it is just a normal motion.
Austin Cole, make a motion to approve consent agenda items.
Cummings will second.
Motion by Austin Cool, second by Cummings to approve the consent agenda items. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Unfinished business, seeing none. 7, recommendations, committee, commissions, and board. Now we're back to Tim on our insurance to actually discuss these things.
Yes, we did. And Thomas make a motion to approve the April 2024 financial statements payroll in the amount of $86,079.71. General disbursements in the amount of $431,537.02. And the clerk's treasurer's report, which is on file in the city clerk's office.
Charles Gould, second.
Motion by Thomas, second by Charlie Cool to approve the April financials and disbursements. Roll call.
Cummings, yes.
Austin Cool, yes.
Charles Gould, yes.
Griffin, yes.
Thomas, yes.
Where, yes.
Hesley, yes.
Motion carried. Jensen proposal.
This came out of Public Works, recommending that we replace the 2 furnaces and air conditioners on the police side of the municipal building. The police department is going to have leftover funding in their police salary budget, and that's where the money would come from. So I'm gonna make the motion to approve Jensen's proposal to replace the 2 furnaces and air conditioners on the police department side of the municipal building. This will allow us to have replaced the furnaces and air conditioners, both on the city clerk side and the police department side,
Save them money.
and save some money.
Griffin, second. Motion by Thomas, second by Griffin to approve Jensen's proposals to add the 2 furnaces on the police side this year. Roll call.
Cummings, yes.
Austin Cool, yes.
Charles Gould, yes.
Griffin, yes.
Thomas, yes.
Where, yes.
Hesley, yes.
Motion carried. Eller's proposal for financial planning management services. They were at the finance meeting and went through it, and if Lana or Tim wants to give a update.
Lana is probably more familiar with it than.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I thought it was a very good, meeting, that Dave came in. I think, he answered a lot of questions or things that he'll, be able to help provide in this management plan. There's 3 different, areas of this financial plan. One is going through, general operating expenses, kind of a projection to see where we're at. Like he said, that with revenues are usually at this level, what do we need to do for future, capital? That's really the biggest one, is that with all the projects that we have coming up in the future, what we need to do, borrowing, just basically a good snapshot of the city and where we need to go with that. And then overview on the tips, which, again, a lot of that was before I was here, but I think, and Charlie was talking about with economic development, and building and different things of the money that's coming in and out for that. It definitely would be good for me. A lot of these things, road projects, all of those things were before my time. But I think it's important that there'll be a presentation, there'll be workshops, all of those things to give us that, where we need to go. And if anybody else in the finance has any input into what he said, but I think overall it was a very good presentation.
With the amount of road projects that we've got coming up, specifically the 2 highways, and it's gonna kind of give us some grief on some of the other roads. We just need a much better long-range picture, looking at the tips and things too, to find out if we should close something sooner rather than later. And we might do more borrowing now than later too, because
That
of the
gives us
elections.
the idea
So-
of what we should do, if the borrowing is important for us to do or not, those type of things. So I think for the city, it's a definitely.
Going through what he presented and reading what he did for another community, it's really gonna help us.
It should be in the packet,
Yeah.
so
The
if you
budget.
haven't,
It's quite a lengthy package.
yeah, I mean, it's.
The cost is $15,000 for the first year,
Mhm.
and that's because he has to develop all the various modules, and then the cost would go down. the following years. And
The
I
audit-
think it's,
The audit is backwards looking, giving you an idea of your health. This is taking that and moving forward. And different variables and things that we've got going on, so.
Now, the example, that's a 10-year,
Right.
you know, we're kind of looking at where we are, I mean, the average is 5. I talked to him about a 7 because the road project's going up to 31. But it doesn't mean if there's something else in the pipeline that we can't give that. But I think overall it would be the checkup for the city to see where we're at.
Definitely.
So the 3 are 5, 5, and 5,
Yeah.
equals the 15, so no matter what, we will spend 15.
We decided, yeah, so you could have did it à la carte,
Yeah,
and we decided, yeah,
okay.
do the whole shebang and
Mhm.
get a good picture of it.
And Ellers is very trusted and I think that it will help us.
They helped us with our budget last year, putting together a budget. Alex was involved in the budget process.
Yeah. It helped, but I think just for future with everything that we have going on, I just really think it would put people at ease when we're looking at the budget. 'Cause we really can't just say year to year, we really do have to have that vision of where we're gonna be in 5 years and what do we need to do, whatever, if for revenues and those type of things, what we have to do, and hopefully not cut anything, but it will give us that picture.
Yeah, he went as far as, you know, referendums and stuff, and I
Yeah.
thought, ooh, I think we're a little referendum out right now, so.
But it's just
Yeah.
giving us ideas
Right.
and maybe things that we didn't think about, that we could do.
Correct. All right. What's your pleasure?
Thomas, make a motion to approve the Ellers proposal for the financial planning management services.
Not to exceed.
I wasn't going to because there's meeting costs.
Okay.
Griffin, second.
Motion by Thomas, second by Griffin, to approve the financial management services for 15,000 is what the proposal is, and there's other items that are in it. Did we discuss where this is coming from? Funding?
No, we didn't.
Okay, funding,
No?
undesignated,
Undesignated,
Undesignated.
that'd be most logical, yeah.
we have
I think that's good.
contingency that I don't think we've done much with right now, 35,000.
Right.
But I think
So,
that,
does it matter which one you want to start with, contingency first and worry about undesignated later?
after,
Because at least we got 35,000 in there, we haven't spent anything yet. And it, yes.
It doesn't make any difference, we can take it. You have preference? Rich? Contingency?
I prefer contingency.
Contingencies.
Okay. All right, so motion by Thomas, second by Griffin, 15,000 coming out of contingency. Roll call.
Cummings, yes.
Austin Cool, yes.
Charles Cole, yes.
Griffin, yes.
Thomas, yes.
Where, no.
Hesley, yes.
Motion carried. Speed board for the police department. It's in your packet, this adapted proposal for $1,800. Chief, you want to run through it quick?
Sure. Currently, we have a speed board, a mobile speed board. The display unit on it has approximately a quarter of the lights that are burnt out on it. It's to the point where it's almost unreadable now, so something needs to be done or it'll be unusable. It is a very worthy tool for the police department. We get a lot of complaints on speeding throughout the city, and it's mobile, we're able to place it where we need it, and it does help as far as slowing traffic down. We have unused wages due to an unfilled position, so we're requesting that we use the $1,800 from that monies to replace the speed board display unit.
So, that's all gonna come out of their funding.
Charles Cole, motion to approve the speed board for the police department.
Austin Cool, second.
Motion by Charlie and Austin Cool, second, to approve the speed board for the replacement for the PD out of their unused wages. Roll call.
Cummings, yes.
Austin Cool, yes.
Charles Cole, yes.
Griffin, yes.
Thomas, yes.
Where, yes.
Hesley, yes.
Motion carried. Waterloo Utilities Contractor Applications for Payment. That is also in your packet, the nice white spreadsheet. Item E7, Development. Contractor payment in the amount of $1,766,593.56.
Cummings will make that motion for
Yeah.
that amount.
There you go.
Charles Gould, second.
Motion by Cummings, second by Charlie Poole to approve the contractor's payment in said amount. Roll call.
Cummings, yes.
Cinco, yes.
Charles Gould, yes.
Griffin, yes.
Thomas, yes.
Where, yes.
Hessler, yes.
Motion carried. City of Waterloo project tracking budget and funding allocations for the wastewater remodel. That is the bottom line, column D, $1,707,625.36.
Cummings will make that motion for that said amount.
Cinco, second.
Motion by Cummings, second by Councilman Poole to approve the funding allocations in said amount. Roll call.
Cummings, yes.
Cinco, yes.
Charles Gould, yes.
Griffin, yes.
Thomas, yes.
Where, yes.
Hessler, yes.
Motion carried. The monthly report is informational in your packet. And then, I thought you submitted a letter of resignation, we just didn't put it in the packet.
I did submit a letter.
Okay, it just wasn't in here, I was expecting it to be. I saw it sitting out, so based on, last meeting, that we updated everything for the utilities and the organizational chart, which changed things to putting, a council member on it. So Tim resigned his position as a citizen and is being appointed, which I should have had a resolution for that as well, so, Jean doesn't get a gold star today. But then we are appointing Tim as the council representative for, the city. So it just needs approval.
Cummings will make that motion for the resignation of Tim for 5-year Water and Light Commission and approve the new appointment as council representative for 1 year.
Griffin, second.
Motion by Cummings, second by Griffin, to approve resignation and the appointment of Tim Thomas. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
Abstained. Motion carried. And then resolution 2024-10, we've had this bouncing around here for a while, increase in Waterloo Water and Lake Commission pay. The members requested it. It is a council process to approve or increase whatever they see fit. And just so you know, I would highly recommend we don't ever do this in the middle of the season, in the middle of the term, that this would be effective at the next term. Just don't give people raises in the middle of things. It's pretty much standard practice. So it's up to you if you want to raise it from 35 to 50, somewhere in the middle. I did some research on it, they did some research on it. $35 is very much average for what people get paid. Some don't get paid at all. So it's entirely up to you. This does come out of the water and light budget. This has nothing to do with city funds, but that's all part of your rates, just like everything else to do with utilities. So it is entirely up to you what you want to do.
I can't vote on this, I'm gonna
Correct.
come right out and say that. Where this came from, the commission, is Tom, current president, is in the process of resigning. He was the one that recommended the increase due to the difficulty in finding members to be on the commission in the past. As, we've still got committees that are short on members. It's important that we have the commission members present because we are dealing with a lot of items. The other reasoning being is we've been dealing with the wastewater treatment plant. Our meetings have become longer. Luckily, our last few meetings have been an hour or less. Our last meeting was over 2 hours again. So, and that was the reason for the request. They've just been getting longer, more involved.
Thank you for that. Any other questions, thoughts?
Seems to be an increase of only $900.
we're not talking a ridiculous amount of money by any means. But again, I would stress that this would not go into effect until the next term, which is always October 1st for them. I wouldn't do it in the middle of it.
I do believe we put this back in October of last.
I do have the minutes as to
Started.
whenever that was, but the one prior to that went through, you guys just did it and never even went through council, so it hasn't necessarily been done right every single time, unfortunately, which is why we've updated ordinances.
And yes, it is. I agree.
Yeah.
Hoyer will move to approve resolution 2024-10, increase in Waterloo Water and Light Commission meeting pay from $35 to $50 per meeting.
You want it to be effective as of October?
No,
You want it right away?
this has been long going.
Got it, noted. Just wanted to ask that question.
And Griffin, you approve that, that is effective now? I'm still against that, but it's not my vote. So I have a motion by Wyatt, second by Griffin, to approve an increase to $50 effective immediately. Roll call.
Cummings, yes.
Sinclair, yes. Charles Gold, no.
Griffin, yes.
Thomas abstain.
Hoyer, yes.
Haslett, yes.
Motion carried. New business. I don't think I have anything new. Anyone else? Anybody want to stay?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Cummings, the second.
Motion by Charlie Kimball, second by Cummings to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you all.
Moving on, financial statements.
I know, I can read it.
Need a motion to recommend council approval.
I also motion.
Do I have a second? I'll second. A motion approval, a second from Thomas to recommend the council approval of the March 2024 financial statements.
How about we-
Recording, I do like that you consolidated like areas together, it wasn't so choppy.
Yeah, okay,
And
good.
they were like subtotals in between. Helps me read it.
That's good. I'm glad
I
you-
was
yeah,
reading the
appreciate
process,
that.
and that's why I didn't second, but.
Oh, okay. It should be April, so you want to amend your motion?
Oh, she's got March on there?
Yep.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
I will amend my motion to April 2024 financial statements.
And I will second that. So I make a motion, or Cole made a motion, second by Thomas, to recommend the council approval of the April 2024 financial statements. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Police Department furnace quote from Jensen's. Who wants to take that?
Chad can,
Chad can.
since we had so much fun going back and forth with it.
Yeah.
Come on, Chad, I only got 25 minutes.
Police chief, mayor, and myself talked about replacing the two furnaces on that side with leftover funds from wages. So I solicited a quote from Jensen Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning for $22,980, which is $500 more than we paid for the two that we got a month ago.
And the
So-
recommendation is to use
The money is there, you can use it from whatever account you want, but what we want you, the finance to know, is we have that extra money if they so choose to use it.
you will because of the opening.
Because of unused wages, yes.
Unused wages, okay. I just want everybody aware of where
So
the
it's
money's
coming out of
coming from.
unused wages on your part.
If finance wants it.
Okay.
If we wait another year, it's just gonna be
It's
more
gonna be more
money, and I
expensive,
think
yeah.
it's just smart that we do it
Well,
right now.
well,
So do I have a recommendation?
And the reason I made the comment that, because what we originally approved at finance for the city isn't exactly what Chad ordered. So when I got this new quote, I'm like, why aren't we getting the exact same furnaces? So if anyone ever to look back and notice that these are different numbers, that's why.
Yes.
Chad decided he really wanted a different version.
I wanted to save the city $2,000.
That's apparently what he did, so that's his story, he's sticking to it.
Yeah, Chad told me that one already.
So, it's all good, so I just
Okay.
make sure we're doing the same furnaces on both sides and everything's the same, so it's all good.
I will motion to,
Recommend the council.
recommend the council, the plumbing and, for the heating and air conditioning replacement.
Wired will second.
You have a motion from Cool, second from Wire to recommend the council approval of the furnaces and air conditioners for the police department. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried. Waterloo Water and Light TIF dollars for TID 5. Barry can't be here, and I'm gonna make a motion to table.
I'll second the motion to table.
Motion from Thomas, second from Wire to table. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed. Motion carried. Hiring process. How do we want to go forward with this? Do we want to write an ordinance, or do we want to do something and just put it in the handbook?
Well, I sent you guys out emails
Feels like-
a couple different times, and it's, oh yeah, May 16th I sent it, again on May 2nd. I'm sorry, March 16th, with a whole bunch of stuff. Richard's the only one that replied back to me and said, I'll look at it. And I think you sent me a bunch of stuff from Middleton's
Probably.
hiring book. So yeah, May 16th.
We didn't really.
No, so this was just stuff to talk about, and then I had brought it up again in April, and then after our last meeting, I put it back out as a reminder, because from you, that we need to have this conversation.
Right.
So, yeah, we should put this on the finance agenda with some more documentation to determine, is it just in the handbook, is it just a policy?
Is there a direction
I
we're
think
looking at?
maybe
Because I got that
kind of
handbook.
look through, I mean, if you go through our rules, I mean, we have standing rules, which is governs the common council
Right,
on what
right.
they do, which needs to be looked at because it refers to the mayor as he.
Instead of they?
Uh-huh.
Twice.
Yeah, I know, there's
But it doesn't really specify what happens there.
Yeah.
There's a police committee. Do we have a police committee that's?
There's only one person on
Yeah.
it. That has to be a 3-person committee.
Yes. I printed that off. The system of government, which is 85-1, that's in there. Appointed officials are in there.
Oh, I know.
The appointments for the fire chief is there as well. So I mean, it's not really addressed on what the procedure is for individual employees.
Now, you're talking about the handbook, yes?
I'm talking about ordinance.
We have
That's
Because it
ordinances
won't-
and.
Hiring of employees
Okay.
only are spelled out for,
What's the ordinance, Charlie? Which one are you looking at?
It's in a few different.
yeah, it's in a couple different
Oh,
places.
okay.
85-1 is, it starts at chapter 85. And that's like the officers, employees.
Yep.
And employees aren't really spelled out there, other than the officials, building inspector, librarian, the ones that the mayor appoints, and then the council confirms. There's nothing about individual, what would you call them? Subordinates, I guess you would be the proper terminology. And who hires them. And the question I guess I have is, if we appropriate the funds for the hire, does it need to be confirmed by council, or can the mayor just approve it? Because it's not spelled out on the appointments.
And state statutes have different things. So the email that I created had a whole bunch of links to stuff. That we
Yeah,
need to
and
determine what we wanna do. So if you look at March 16th, and I'll gladly resend it to you.
And I started wading into 62,
11?
6209. I'm going way
6209.
back.
That's municipal,
6209.
yeah.
And kind of wading through some of this stuff, so
Right.
I think we need to clean up some of that stuff, whether it's just an entry in here that if we want the council to confirm subordinate employees upon the mayor's recommendation or the department head's recommendation, I don't know how you want to word it, but that to me would suffice. Short of that, there's no authority there.
Well, we have a finance and personnel committee, but yet it never seems to always go through that process. It's like it's kind of something, so we just need to fine tune how this works. We're not trying to hamstring the department heads by any means, but just so it's clear who does what, you know, who gets
You
the
said that's
resume.
March 11th?
16th.
16, this is
And I
kind
have
of,
11
it
intended.
kind of started when I looked
Okay,
at
got it.
Got it.
the,
There's a whole bunch of attachments in there, Richard replied, and he attached a bunch of stuff.
it's like when we hired the fire department. Yes, it was just in a probationary period, but if council would have, after the fact, voted against that hire, you already offered it to the, and
Correct.
installed that person, you're kind of putting the cart before the horse, so I just want it a little cleaner.
Yep, I agree.
Neither right or wrong, just defined.
Correct.
Define it, yeah.
Okay.
So before budget hits, we should probably get this on the next agenda.
It will be on the next agenda.
Okay. Come on, get back here, want to honor them.
And I don't know, do you think this attorney would have any recommendations that we'll look through and, or
What's the proper way?
is it
Yeah.
just us? Is it up to us to do?
Well, so you look at the state statutes, which I think I had 6211, and I'm not, for some reason, I think this didn't take the way I wanted it to. So there is state statutes that says a certain thing, and then it's either gonna be in the employee handbook, or it's gonna be in the ordinance, and we can reference the ordinance to the handbook and vice versa.
It could be a
Each-
policy too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which to me would be part of the handbook personally. I would think that would be, it's a handbook, this is how you hire, this is how you, we have discipline in there, but we don't have how you get there, you know? So I would think that just putting it in our handbook would be fine, having Bill review it,
Sure.
verbiage when we're done, and just be done with it.
Okay.
That way everybody understands who gets what.
Cause I've seen, you know, even the mayor appoints the police chief, the
Correct.
police chief is basically there until he's removed if there's some mechanism.
Great.
But then I've seen ordinances where the police chief has sole authority to hire and fire within that without any other authority having oversight for that, I guess, other than like an appeals process or something like that. But-
There's always, you're right, a grievance or an
Yes,
appeals process or.
but just clean it up, I guess, a little bit,
Okay.
all right?
Okay.
Next
And then that's when we'll make sure the org chart is done properly too, and just kind of clean some of this up. Work, so I don't need to resend the email, everybody's got March 16th?
I got it.
Okay, good.
I don't know why I missed it the first time. I've missed a couple of years. No.
I know, and we're gonna go back to one of them too for 53-8, we'll talk about that in a minute. I send you emails and you ignore me, I'm not feeling well.
53 dash.
That's that first policy that we had. It was supposed to be back on
We
this
failed to
agenda.
find a,
That was May 2nd,
No, we did financial statements.
and I thought I told you.
We changed it from June to February to April.
right, yeah.
So I'll.
I just didn't remember hearing the numbers.
Oh,
The numbers that I normally do.
Thanks.
Which other one are you talking about? Okay, speed
We'll
board.
go into that after, in future.
Okay,
No,
I'm not ignoring you.
Okay, good.
I'm just not missing.
he was distracted by something.
This one, this
I think sometimes my phone does not pick them all up.
one. That's why I love my little laptop much better, because yeah, sometimes I can't get things correctly over my phone either, you know.
of a sudden, if I look at my laptop, then
There it
they're
is.
there, yeah.
Speed board.
Chief,
Since Charlie brought it up, and
Yeah.
it is well received in the community as far as the use. People, or residents complain about speeding in certain areas. It is a temporary solution, it does help. Being that it's aging, about a quarter of the display lights are out. I've talked to the manufacturer itself. There is no way to replace the individual lights, so it's $1,800 to replace the whole board. We can get the board, and DPW can replace it for us. And with a quarter of the lights gone, it's getting hard to tell what the numbers are actually on there. So if we don't do something with it, it's not gonna be of any value.
But we only have one.
We don't-
That's all we need.
yeah. And actually, that's a whole lot cheaper than I thought it was gonna be. To replace the lights.
Do you have funding for this, or do we have to? come up with-
No, there's approximately $36,000 unused wages. 22,980 will be going to the furnaces, and the only thing that we're asking, other than that, would be for the speed board.
Okay.
I motion to do that, please.
Take it out of
Sure.
officer wages? Okay.
I will second that motion.
We have a motion from Cool, second by Wired, to approve the purchase of the speed board display using funds, unused funds from employee, or
Wages.
officer wages. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Future agenda items and announcements. Hiring process is what we are working on. Anybody else have anything?
I do not.
I have Jeannie had sent you an email on May 2nd, to get the response back from the attorney regarding 53-8, the purchasing policy resolution, which one goes where, so that needs to come back to finance.
Be
May 2nd. Remember we had 53-8, that was one of the emails I was complaining you were ignoring that. And then when we did bring it back up, then we need to make sure how that affects, because we have a purchasing policy, but then we also had this in our ordinance.
correct.
So he replied back to that, so we can't discuss it now, but just, that'll be on the next agenda.
That'll be on the next
Jean's
one.
was May 2nd, you did not get it, but Jean sent it to me and Tim.
Okay.
So it's just from Bill. Just commenting, because we brought it up here, but we need to get from him, which way does this need to go? Because it had $500 in our ordinance.
Yes,
And I'm like, no, our purchasing policy says something different.
right,
So we'll have this email and his commentary at the next meeting.
okay.
I have to quit using my phone.
There you go. And then, go ahead, Jeannie, or she had something too, but I'll let you go. What is this, fund balance policy? I sent this out in April 15th. Oh,
Yeah, we talked about the fund balance policy, but I just don't want to see it go away.
And I think we're gonna wait until Ellers
Yeah, that's exactly what I was
gives
gonna
us
say.
the report, because he's gonna be talking about the fund balance.
This
the
was
fund
from
balance
Justin,
policy.
yes.
Does it have something to do with policy? I mean, he's gonna give us a recommendation on it going
And I think
forward.
then we can develop a policy
Yes,
once we have a
yes.
recommendation.
And a sign for infrastructure.
I've talked with Lana about a policy, and she's been to a couple schools, or meetings, where there's pros and cons.
They have a fund balance policy?
You're talking about. the-
Putting all the money, undesignated surplus, excess undesignated surplus into an account.
Right.
Apparently, there are some drawbacks.
This seems.
And
That's how the conversation started with the,
Right.
with doing all of this.
Right,
And he's not saying opposed to.
I'd like to hear from Dave
Yeah.
before we,
Okay,
right.
I think that's part of what will come up from
yep,
Yep, don't
what
forget.
he's doing.
all right.
I'm not against it, I think we just need more information.
Well, and what I was gonna talk about, didn't have enough time to put this on the agenda, ClearGov is a program for budgeting. We do so many things, and we have my view, but it is not as user-friendly. We found that out. A lot of the things for budgeting, for payroll, I have to run a spreadsheet, time-consuming. This software program does the operational budget, does all those things. It still goes to department heads. It is partnered with Excel, so they integrate everything into it. Now, the cost is a factor. Obviously, everything's more expensive. The reason I'm kind of talking about this, or want to discuss it, is that they're willing to do a proration for it, so we can use it during the budget year. So, right now, between capital, which that planet went up to 1,000, and what we pay for my view, with no support, no training, and again, it's not the most user-friendly, I found. We pay over 4,000. And we paid semi-monthly, so it's closer to 5 with that plan, and figured in, so we did it. They will do it starting in June, use it through this audit system, or this thing, to see if we like it. If we don't, we're done. If we don't have to pay for it, it would be $6,000. And I've not paid half of my views that comes up in June, so it'd still be a few thousand more. But the total price tag, and that's where this prorated or trial would be very nice to be able to use to see if we like it, to be able to do it, it's 11,000 for the year. So it is a price, but it's just more
Sufficiency.
yeah, a huge time
And
saver.
we'll get the documents.
So it will eliminate all these line items
Do
and
we have to
zeros
do a
and.
motion on this? Or do we-
You can't.
We can't,
I-
so,
we can't
so
tonight.
this is why I told you to bring it up tonight.
Yes,
So instead of waiting until next month, the third week into June, and we're already gonna be starting it, if you wanna have a 5-minute finance meeting before council in 2 weeks to approve this,
It would be the
then we can get it on finance and council to do the trials. If we wait till the end of June, we're already into budgets.
I understand that.
Yeah,
I was
so-
going to have it come to the next council meeting.
Right. So whether you wanted to bypass
You wanna do
finance
it-
or have a
You wanna
5-minute
do a
finance.
5-minute finance meeting?
It's better than doing it now off the agenda.
Yes.
No,
We're not
no,
gonna do
no,
that.
this is the announcement, this is an
Yeah, no,
I'm
it's
announcement,
just talking about future items here.
it's the announcement
Yeah.
portion.
It's whether it
Yeah.
comes to committee or just goes straight to council. That's the question.
Okay,
But
we can
that's what I
start,
wanted
we
to
can,
do.
I mean, if next month,
I'd be happy to do a finance committee meeting to talk about
Okay,
this.
so we'll do a quick finance committee.
Okay. Sure.
Oh,
thank you.
And every time you
Well, we're gonna do a bit of a diatribe, we should.
I know, thanks a lot. So where are you saying?
Yes. No, we didn't.
Future.
Not in that detail, not in that
Oh,
detail.
Okay, it's fine.
I guess, motion to adjourn,
There you go.
Second.
we're done.
Yeah, motion to roll, second by Ware to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye.